now that even I am He, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive, I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. Right. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawahshi, Bahasham, Kodash. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles of great ministry. Salutation to Akim, pushing his words in sincerity and truth. This is your brother Yassan, back at you with another lesson. We're going to define the spirit and power of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawahshi. Right, and this one here would be Yahawah Bahasham Yahawahshi has been proven to be the true God, the true power. Right? So throughout the scriptures, throughout, the accounts in the Bible, that Yahawah Bahasham Yahawahshi have been proven to be the true power, and basically his works show forth. Right? So I first brought out Deuteronomy 32:39, where it's a scene now that I am He, I am He, and there is no God with me. Right? Because there's a scripture in Jeremiah 2:11 says, hath a nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods? But my people have changed their glory for that which doth not profit. Yeah. So the people hadn't changed the gods, the other nations, the heathens hadn't changed their gods, and many gods. Even in the Hindu, there's millions of the Hinduism, there's millions of gods. But hey, none of these gods haven't been proven, to be true. But Yahawah Bahasham Yahawahshi. So let's go and get the account first in the book of Daniel. Daniel chapter 3 concerning the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Let's say Nebuchadnezzar the king. I'm gonna jump down to verses. Well, I'll start at one. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent together the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces, to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Then the princes, the governors and captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then an herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kind of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king hath set up. And whosoever falleth not down and worship shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Therefore at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, the sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden images that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. So basically it was that all who wouldn't, fall down and give a reverence, give the honor, give the respect onto the idol that Nebuchadnezzar set up, that he created, they would be thrown into a burning furnace, put to death, or deleted. Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou king has made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image. Right? Because again, once you get this precept in Wisdom of Solomon, right? Wisdom of Solomon 14 and verses 12. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, right? Let me start at 11. Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation, because in the creature of Yahawah Bahasham they are become an abomination and stumbling blocks to the souls of men, and a snare to the feet of the unwise. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption of life. So it was invented, just as it was that Nebuchadnezzar made that statue, the idol to worship. For neither were they from the beginning, because he created it in his time, neither shall they be forever. Right? For by the vain glory of men they entered into the world, and therefore shall they come shortly to an end. Because it was created, right? It was by the vain glory of Nebuchadnezzar the image was created, right? I'm gonna jump to verse 13. Then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and fury commanded to bring. Verse 12. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and fury commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, It is true. Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I set up? Again, to the vain glory of man. Now if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made, well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God, who is that power that shall deliver you out of my hands? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. Because they already perceived and knew, what would be the outcome. Right? If so be our power whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand. So they're saying, if so be it, if it be so, well, we not gonna make no remark, because we not gonna worship your gods. And if it's the case that we're gonna have to be burnt in a fiery furnace, we believe and have faith and trust in our power, Yahawah Bahasham, that he's gonna deliver us out of your hand and from the fiery furnace. And again, because the scriptures say Um, it had none that trusted in the Lord and was confounded. Right? Sirach 2 and 10. Look at the generations of old and see. Did ever any trust in Yahawah Bahasham Yahushua and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? Yapa. Right. Let's see. Um, right. But if not, let's see. Right. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hat, and they gathered garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound in the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the son of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawahshi. Yeah, because it was Yahawahshi, you know, the captain of the host of the Lord's army was there with them, right? Because the scriptures say the chariots of the Lord encamp amongst them that fear him. You know, the Lord was there with them to deliver them, to comfort them in that time. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of Yahawah Bahasham Yahushua the Most High, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth out of the midst of the fire. And the princes, governors, and captains, and kings' counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was a hair of their head singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the power, the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right, who had sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any power except their own power. And that's why in these times we ought to come and have that same faith, in the Lord, no matter what. Because just imagine you being burnt into a fiery furnace. Offer the faith, and they had that trust in the Lord. They were delivered. So we ought to take these these acts that took place. The scriptures say in Romans, it is these things that are written, it is written for our learning, right? And it shows the boost of faith we had to have in that time. Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the power of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. Really a powerful praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahushua, Bahasham, Akakudash. Just knowing that. Right, and this was just one account that Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahushua was proven to be the true power. There's the account with David going up to fight against Goliath, and he remarked, you come to me with a shield and sword and And these things, but I come in the name of Yahawah Bahasham Yahushai. The Lord gave him his strength, and he put Goliath to flight. You know. Let's get the another account, Daniel 6, concerning the lions den. Daniel 6 and Daniel 6:19. Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the den of the lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living power, is thy power, Yahawah Bahasham Yahushai, whom thou servest continually, able to deliver thee from the lions? Then came Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. My power had sent his angel, and had shut the lion's mouth, that they have not hurt me. For as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. Then was the king exceeding glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his power, Yahawah Bahasham Yahushai. And the king commanded, and they brought these men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the lions' den of the lions, them their children and their wives. And the lion had the mastery of them, and break all their bones in pieces, however they came at the bottom of the den. Then the king Darius wrote unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree in every dominion of my kingdom, men tremble and fear before Yahawah Bahasham Yahushai, the power of Daniel, our forefather. For he is the living power, and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end. And basically in this year he prophesied. Basically in that decree he prophesied, the kingdom gonna be established forever, which is Yahawahshi coming back in that reign, you know. And let's get in another account here. First Kings, this would be the last account I'll bring out with Elijah, right? Book of First Kings chapter 18. And 21. And Elijah came unto all the people and said, How long hold ye between two opinions? If the Lord be Yahawah Bahasham Yahushai, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. And the people answered him not a word. Then Elijah said unto the people, I only remain a prophet of Yahawah Bahasham Yahushai, but Baal's prophet are 450. Then let therefore give us bullocks, and let them choose one bullock for themselves, and cut it in pieces, and lay it on wood, and put no fire under. And I will dress the other bullock, and lay it on wood, and put no fire under. And call ye on the name of your power, and I will call on the name of Yahawah Bahasham Yahushai, and the power that answered by fire, let him be God. And all the people answered and said, It is well spoken. And Elijah said unto the prophets of Baal, Choose you one bullock for yourselves, and dress it first, for ye are many, and call upon the name of your power, but put no fire under. And they took the bullock which was given them, and they dressed it, and called on the name of Baal from morning even until noon, saying, O Baal, hear us. but there was no voice, no any that answered, and they leaped upon the altar which was made. Yeah, let's get Psalms 115, and I'm gonna start at verses um, 4. It say, their idols are silver and gold, the works of men's hands. They have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes they have, but they see not. They have ears, but they hear not. Nose have they, but they smell not. They have hands, but they handle not. Feet they have, but they walk not, neither speak. They chew their throat. They that make them are like unto them. So is every one that trusts in them. O Israel, trust thou in the Lord. He is their help and their shield. Right? Yeah, because coming back here, they have eyes that can hear, they have ears that can they have eyes that can see, they have ears that can hear, they cannot speak to answer. Right? So that is why as they 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 um they cried out, so they started to leap on the altar. And it came to pass at noon, and Elijah mocked them and said, cry aloud, for he is a God. Either he is talking, or he is pursuing, or he is in a journey, or peradventure he sleepeth and must be awake. And they cried aloud and cut themselves after their manner with knives and lancets, till the blood gushed out upon them. And it came to pass when midday was past, and they prophesied until evening of the offering and of the evening sacrifice, that there was neither voice nor any to answer, nor any that regarded. And Elijah said unto all the people, come near unto me. All the people came near unto him, and he repaired the altar of Yahawah Bahasham that was broken down. And Elijah took 12 stones according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, unto whom the word of the Lord came, saying, Israel shall be mine, be thy name. And with the stones he built an altar in the name of Yahawah Bahasham, and he made a trench round about the altar as great as would contain 2 measures of seeds. And he put the wood in order, and cut the bullock in pieces, and laid on the wood, and filled 4 barrels with water, and poured it on the burnt offering and on the wood. And he said, do it the second time. And they did the second time. Do it the third time, and they did it the third time. And the water ran round about the altar, and he filled the trench also with water. And it came to pass at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, that Elijah the prophet came near. And this is the confidence that the prophet had, and in Yahawah Bahasham Shai. Why he wet the altar, he wet down the bullock, the wood, fully trenched with water. It said that Elijah the prophet came near and said, Lord, O Yahawah Bahasham Shai, power of Abraham, Isaac, and of Israel, let it be known this day that thou art power in Israel, thou art God in Israel, and that I am thy servant, and I have done all these things at thy word. Hear me, O Yahawah Bahasham, hear me, that this people may know that thou art the Lord power, and that thou hast turned their heart back again. Then the fire of the Lord fell down and consumed the burnt sacrifice, and the wood, and the stone, and the dust, and licked up the water that was in the trench. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces, and they said, Yahawah Bahasham Shai, he is power. The power, he is the power of Yahweh. He is the power of Yahawah Bahasham Shai. And Elijah said unto them, take the prophets of Baal, and let not one of them escape. And they took them, and Elijah brought them down to the brook Kishon, and slew them there. Yeah, hopefully the lesson was edifying. All praises to Yahawah Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Kakodash. As you see, he alone was proven to be the true power on many accounts, and there's more. Until the next one, shalom.